2 recipes for the price of 1. This is so good. It's Cesar with the Food52 Test Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make an easy heirloom and nectarine summer gazpacho with an easy, cheesy 2-ingredient flatbread. 3-ingredient flatbread. So there's a million recipes for gazpacho out there. I'm not reinventing any wheels. This is how I like gazpacho. I think mid to late summer is the perfect time to make gazpacho, especially when tomatoes are in season. These are some beautiful local New York State heirloom tomatoes, and what better way to enjoy them? Actually, everything here is local. My tomatoes, my nectarine, my cucumber. This is the most beautiful pepper I've ever seen in my life. We have a little garlic. I have a single beet, which we will talk about in a little bit. Just cut your vegetables, cut your tomatoes in half. You don't need to be too precious about getting out the core out since this is getting blended. Just want that stem section, really. Tomato season is probably the only good part of summer to me. I'm not a summer person. It's too hot. Start adding your tomatoes to the blender. This all comes together super quick. This is our Miyabi knife, available in our store, but this thing is just cutting through this like butter. If your knife is not sharp, you're gonna be pressing down on your tomato and you're gonna have tomato juice everywhere. So in total, this is around 2.5 to 3 pounds of tomatoes. If you don't wanna make this much gazpacho, this is very easily scaled down. Okay, to our tomatoes, I'm adding a cucumber. Beautiful local cucumber. Cucumber also adds a lot of freshness to the gazpacho. What am I doing? You ever do something, you're like, why am I doing it like that? Our pepper. Just take the core out. I like to give it a little rinse just to get the seeds out. Seeds could be bitter, gotta be careful. Again, just rough chops. It's all getting blended. This is a delicious pepper. This pepper's sweet. Halal Farms, New York. That's where this stuff is from. I've got a shallot. And just rough chops. In gazpacho, a little garlic goes a long way. 1 garlic can do the trick. If you want a little more bite to it, you can add 2 cloves. I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic. I also have a nectarine. You could use a nectarine, you could use a peach, any stone fruit really. You could use plums. Just gonna cut it up a little bit, help it along. Press it down, pack it in. I'm gonna save this shallot for later. The shallot and the beet are gonna come into play. Wait, can I get this juice? Yeah. All right, let's blitz it up. So at this point, some people add bread, or some people even add like almonds to thicken the gazpacho. That's great, do whatever you want. I'm just gonna actually use extra virgin olive oil to thicken the gazpacho. So as the blender is running, I'm gonna slowly stream in our extra virgin olive oil, and it's gonna create an emulsification. And with that emulsification, it's going to thicken, kind of like with a mayonnaise or dressings. I'm gonna add a little sherry vinegar. This is probably the most traditional type of vinegar to add to gazpacho. Some salt. Measurements in the recipe. So as this is going, now it's thick. Let's give this a taste. Also, you can see how thick it is just from that olive oil. Perfect, what? Forgot to add a little black pepper. Final blitz. Pop it in the fridge as you work on your flatbread to dip into the gazpacho. I'm gonna show you really ridiculously easy 2-ingredient flatbread. I like to let the gazpacho chill for at least an hour or two. You want it to be really, really cold. As that's happening, I'm just gonna work on our topping for the gazpacho. I always like to top gazpacho with extra virgin olive oil, of course, but you could also dress it up a little bit as well. So in this case, I have a beet that I'm just gonna roast. So just trim the ends off. And then just a little olive oil and a little salt. Wrap it up, little packet, into a 350-degree oven for like an hour, just until it's easily pierced. And then you end up with this beautifully roasted beet, super soft, super sweet. And to peel it, the skin literally just comes right off. You could do it under running water to make it easier. This does stain, so heads up. The beet itself is so like earthy and sweet, and it's gonna make a really nice complement to that gazpacho. Also, cold beets are delicious. Cold beet soups are delicious, like a borscht, which can be enjoyed hot or cold. I also have that other little shallot I'll be adding as well. It's as thinly as you can get it. To this, I'm just gonna add a little salt, a little pepper. If you have any herbs laying around, this is a great place to add them. These little chives, super refreshing. Just give this a little kiss of sherry vinegar, your extra virgin olive oil. Give that a little mix. And here's your topping for your gazpacho later. All right, I don't know about you, but I like to dip. I like to dip into soups, into coffee, whatever. I'm a dipper. Let's make a really easy, literally 2-ingredient, technically 3 if you count salt, flatbread. All you need are equal parts self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. I've seen this flatbread made a lot in like European cooking shows, and I always found it really interesting why I haven't seen that here before. I feel like self-rising flour is not that big in the United States. I feel like in American baking, you have your all-purpose flour, and then I feel like bakers like to have control here over their leaveners. This is essentially all-purpose flour with a little salt and a little baking soda, baking powder. So to this, I'm just gonna add a little extra salt and our Greek yogurt. And something about the acid in the yogurt results in a really tender flatbread. So get your hands dirty. And this is great because no yeast, no rest time, happens super fast. And this is really customizable. You can add herbs to this, you can add spices. I thought it'd be fun to do a play on kind of like grilled cheese and tomato soup, so we're gonna do a cheese stuffed flatbread. Totally optional though, you don't have to add anything if you don't want to. And this is honestly really, really, really hard to mess up. Like, I always say I'm not a baker. It's one of those recipes that once I learned it, I see myself making this forever now. If it starts to feel a little dry, just add a little more Greek yogurt, and it comes together into a really manageable ball of dough. Just flour your surface a little bit. Just continue to knead for like another minute until your dough is nice and smooth. Shape into a ball. Flatten it out. And then with a bench scraper, I just like to divide it. Just cut down the middle. So you end up with 8 flatbreads. So at this point, I kind of just like to let it rest for like a minute. Put a little towel over it while you prep your pan. So today I'm using a cast iron skillet. Any heavy bottom pan will be great. So I'm just preheating it over medium heat. Just a little drizzle of olive oil. And then when you're ready to start forming them, just add a little flour, grab your little portion, flatten it out. And I like these to be rustic. I'm not looking for a perfect circle. I really don't give a shit about that. So for cheese, any low moisture cheese will be great. if you do decide to stuff it with cheese. This is Oaxaca cheese, Mexican Oaxaca cheese. You could use mozzarella, whatever you want. Okay. Just kind of fold it over onto itself. I almost kind of feel like I'm making pupusas. Using my fingertips, kind of like a little pizza, into your hot pan, medium heat, little olive oil. Can you believe? 2 ingredients. 3 if you include salt, but usually salt's not included in an ingredient. All right, our gazpacho, nice and chilled. Bang. I've got my olive oil with beets and shallots and herbs. Let's top this with a little oil. And that beet juice really gives the shallots a nice color too. All right, our flatbreads. Hot. All right. There we have it. This is our summer heirloom tomato gazpacho with nectarines, beets, shallots, our super easy flatbreads, which I stuffed with cheese. Shall we? Ooh. Ooh. This is so good. I don't want to ruin my pretty little presentation. I'm just gonna clean spoon. That is so fresh. This is such a nice way to like start a meal or just like a light lunch. It's almost kind of giving like dipping something into like salsa a little bit. This is honestly, genuinely, really, really delicious. I hope you try this. And you'll always have this flatbread recipe in your back pocket. 2 recipes for the price of 1. Comment, like, subscribe. Recipe down below. I'll see you later.